All right, guys, time to do an update on the CB550 engine. I have some good news and some bad news. The bad news is I have to push out the video release date till end of July or maybe even later or maybe sooner. Just depends on how all this goes. The good news is I think I have all the parts I need to start assembling. Now, I knew this was going to happen. And that's what I want to cover in this video. I ran into a bunch of snags with locating parts, both used and new old stock, because some of them aren't available from the OEM anymore. So this all took time, and it took a little bit of digging to get what I needed. And I knew this was going to happen because this is a mid-70s engine, right? They don't make the parts anymore, as opposed to comparing it to like my KX250, right? You just make a couple clicks and you can get all the new parts in just a couple of days and throw it all back together. Also, since this engine is exposed, I wanted the parts to look good. So I polished covers, sent stuff out for vapor blasting, and that all took a little time and money. So I just want to do a quick walk around on all the parts and show you what I bought, where I'm at, and where we go from here. Now, I want to thank all the people who have pre-ordered this video to save a few bucks. Thank you so much. And also the guys that have jumped on Patreon at the $3 plus level. They will get this video for free when it's available. All right, let's go look at these parts. All right, so here are all the parts that we're going to be covering. So I'm just going to walk around these two tables here and discuss what's going on. And also, so far I spent about $1,000 on all the services and parts that you see laid out here. All right, let's start with the cases. I sent out all this stuff right here for vapor blasting. Prior to vapor blasting, I cleaned all the gaskets off, all the grease, and I soda blasted it. And I'm thinking, the soda blast looks okay, right? But there was a bunch of corrosion and imperfections that didn't really look good. So then I'm like, what the hell, I'll just paint it, right? Can of paint is $15. You can see that the color is pretty closely matched, but then that's a lot of masking and whatnot, and paint's paint, right? So I was actually going to work with one company, do some YouTube collaboration and have them vapor blast it. That really didn't work out, which is no big deal or whatever. Then I found a local company to me. I live in Chicago, well, the suburbs of Chicago, and I found this company called Vaporshine, and they are in Naperville, Illinois. So it was nice to just drive over there and drop off the parts and not have to ship them. Price was reasonable, turnaround was quick. I dropped them off Saturday, they were ready Monday, and they have a huge machine that can accept engine blocks and transmission cases. I mean, it's a massive machine. So if you want to look them up, I'll put a link in the video description. They're on Facebook, Vaporshine. So they were great to deal with. So the cases, I'll get a close-up of this, but man, they look perfect. I mean, these were in real rough shape, and since this engine is exposed, I think this will really look nice. So I got the oil filter housing, the oil pump housing, the oil pan, the case halves. I had them do the tops of the bolts, so they look nice, and a bunch of little miscellaneous parts, and also they blasted the rotor because it was all rusty. Oh, and the cost for all this right here was $300 to get it blasted. So here's a closer look of the finish. One thing about wet blasting or vapor blasting is that the finish is really smooth. It's not rough like a dry blast. So this surface will now be less prone to staining. The dirt won't stick to it as much. And if I had a greasy finger and put it on here, you can wipe the grease off. You wouldn't be able to do that with a dry blast. It would kind of embed in the rough surface. So this is very smooth. It has a nice sheen to it, and it just looks really nice. Another thing I noticed is that the media does not pack into blind threaded holes like dry blasting. And there was, I rinsed these out, and I noticed that there was a little bit of media left over. And you should always wash your parts anytime it comes back from a machine shop or a blast shop. But the media was extremely easy to clean out. I mean, just a quick rinse with soapy water and a hose, and they are completely clean. I spent many hours dry blasting as a kid working at a shop, and that stuff just, it's really difficult to clean out once it gets packed into, you know, a blind hole or whatever. So I'm really happy with the results. I think it's going to add a little value to this engine. It's going to look better, and overall, it's just going to be a good thing. Okay, over here we have the crank, the rods, and the main bearings. The main bearings do not look worn. They look okay. Probably could reuse them, except the fact that the guy that tried to rebuild this engine nicked them. There's screwdriver nicks on some of these, so he probably pounded these out with a screwdriver or whatever and nicked them. So therefore, I do not want to use them. Now, you think you just go and order them, right? Well, the problem is they are hard to find. Not only that, is the cases are stamped a certain journal diameter. The crank journals are a certain diameter. Therefore, you match the bearings to provide the proper oil clearance. Now, per the manual, you know, I figured out which ones I needed. The ones that I really needed are not available anymore. So what I did is I found the green bearings, and I'll explain this all in the how-to video or the full video. The green bearings will work, and that's what I ordered. I found a site called David Silver, I believe. He had 9 of them, and I needed 10. Ordered all 9 from him, and I found one on eBay. So that's how I got that, and that took a while. Next up, looks like a piece of trash got in the rod bearing, so I had to order 2 shells. Looks like they were available from the OEM, so I ordered a set. And then a week later, I got an email saying, hey, you know what, we can't get these. I'm like, all right, great. So back to eBay, I found a set and got that delivered. So all that just took time, you know. It's just a waste of time looking for parts. Another thing, in order to get to the rod bearing bolts, you're going to have to machine a socket down for clearance. So this is a 12 mil socket. Plan on machining or grinding one, and just to get those off. Okay, next up, the covers. These covers did not come with the engine purchase, so I had to find these on single overhead cam forum, and I bought these off a member. These, the clutch cover I did have, but it was in really rough shape, so I wanted another one that didn't have a bunch of dings and stuff in it. And then you saw the polishing video that I had. These covers are mostly done. They're not completely done. I did what I could on the buffer, but I have some tight areas that I need to go back with a die grinder and a little polishing tool. So, I mean, they're coming out really nice and shiny, but there are some little areas that I have to get. But definitely much better than they were for sure. All right, let's see what's going on over here. So these are the main bearings, brand new. One of the shift forks was kind of a little messed up. Little grinding on it or whatever, so I ordered a new shift drum and shift forks on eBay. Got a brand new Athena gasket kit. Over here I got a brand new polished stainless engine bolt kit. So you can see it comes with all the bolts. And I want to thank Joshua, who bought my top end video. He sent me pictures of his completed engine. And I'm like, hey, where'd you get those bolts? Maybe I'll use it for my build. And he sent me that. This is $30 on eBay, so I'll have a link to that eventually. New clutch plates, new cam chain, new primary chain, and then I ordered all the seals, O-rings, bearings, bolts that I could, new OEM. Some bearings aren't available, so you know, if yours are in good condition, then you're just gonna have to reuse them. All right, over here I just have some parts that are cleaned up. Some have to be cleaned up again. So everything here looks okay. I had to buy a new shift shaft because the one that was in here was bent. So I think that's the main cause of the shifting issues, is just binding up. So I got that on eBay. Everything else looks good. It's just waiting to get assembled. All right, guys, well, that's pretty much it. That's an update where I'm at. You can see that things are coming together slowly, and I apologize it's not out already. taking a little family vacation. We're taking a road trip to Colorado, and then when I get back, I'm going to hit this hard, and we're going to get this back together, and you guys will have the video. All right, that's it for this video. Make sure to hit that like button and share this with your riding buddies. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon to get notified right away when new videos come out. If you'd like to support me in creating more videos, such as this one, check out my Patreon page and see if you can help me out. You can also buy me an ice cold beer or two by clicking on the link. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.